You gave your trust to a narcissistic person together with your love and all the good qualities about you and anything that you could muster. You invested into that relationship. And you were paid with betrayal, heartbreak, and emotional and psychological damage. No wonder that you're hesitant to trust again. But if you're going to experience real love and true connection in the future, trust is part of building such a relationship. So how do you overcome your fear of trust and your fear of getting hurt? I will bring you along on my evening walk and we will talk about this. Why this happens and how you can start to gently heal, and why you need to trust in a different way than you did before the narcissistic relationship. As I'm walking here in the forest, I'm feeling quite calm, very calm. I trust that nothing will happen to me. I will get home safely. The ground won't suddenly open up underneath my feet, and I won't be attacked by an animal or a person. Now, is that really true? Because there is a small chance that one of those things could happen, but I am not afraid of it. Your brain makes estimate based on your previous experiences. Your nervous system makes an estimate to what is likely to happen, and then you work according to that theory. So there is the trust in the environment around you, and you could perhaps have trust in your government or your country or the society that you live in, that like the infrastructure will work and the system is functional and it will take care of the things that it's there to take care of. And then there is the general trust in other people. Like people are mostly good and benign, and I don't have to fear them in general. And then there is the trust that has to be there for you to enter a closer relationship, a more intimate one, to open up about your vulnerabilities, to admit to a person that I like you, or I'm feeling insecure, or anything of the things that are authentically going on inside of you. You have to have a certain trust in order to open up and to bond with a person. Like when you invest emotionally in someone and you start to attach to them and love them and like them, and then if they would decide that they don't want to be in a relationship, then that would be hurtful. Before you met the narcissist, you were probably quite open. You shared easily about your inner world, and after a period of a person proving yourself to you, and it could be quite a short period, making you feel safe and them being interested in you. Then you would lower your guard completely and let them in. The narcissist doesn't trust, so that's part of why they are not able to be authentic and be fully present and themselves in a relationship. So they don't trust, they don't share about their real inner thoughts, and they don't attach. So, and you will notice that, like in a marriage with a narcissistic individual, you can know them for years and still like feel that they are keeping you at a distance. There is always like a barrier between them and you. And what they are showing you when they are interacting, that is what is called the mask. It is an act, like behaviors and things that they are saying to you with the purpose of having an effect on you. The purpose could be to sorry, it's just another small frog. I just love them. I have to show you. Let's see, there it is. It's a bit larger than the one I saw on my last walk. There it is. There it is. So, frogs aren't dangerous. I trust them. So, not trusting that, and not attaching and not opening up, that will certainly prevent you from heartache. But on the other hand, it will isolate you so that no one, like, you will not be fully accepted by anyone because they don't know you fully. So even if they say that you're so great and you're so kind and I really love you, then if you are interacting with them like through an act, then they don't really know your inner thoughts and they don't know the real you. So it will not be a real love connection. And that would be very sad to go through life and not experiencing human relationships on a deep level. Like we are relational creatures, and relationships are very important for us emotionally and even psychologically. Like if you have close friendships, then that can prevent you from illnesses, like even heart attacks or stroke or dementia. Like close relationships are one of the protective factors when you look at like centenarians or people who have a long life. So it's an important part of living. Now, there did come a point in the relationship with the narcissist when you realized that they had betrayed you in some way. And for various reasons, you decided to try to move past that and try to forget that and forgive them, although it is not easy, like it's not something that can really be forced. And I do have a video about why you forgave so much in that relationship. I will put it here. But what you did instead, and like what they often demand, they will say things like, so you mean you don't trust me, in a bit of a aggressive manner. You start to override that sense of not trusting them, and you start to enforce like a blind belief on the and it's not completely conscious, but sometimes it is like a choice. I just have to trust them. I can't think about that he might do it again, or like I have to trust him. So you steer your thoughts away from any fear that he might do the same thing again, and you really hope that he won't, like this time it will be different. And it is like if you have a fundamentalist religious belief where you have a belief that clashes with reality, then you might choose that, like make the choice that this belief is important for me, like for my personality. I choose to believe in this, even if it clashes with like proof that in your experience or in the reality around you. Do you hear that? I don't know what kind of animal that is. There are some sounds here, like it's in the evening and the sun will set in about an hour, so I think it's usually the time when there are a lot of animals moving around. Yeah. So you might just decide that this is what I'm believing, and when you get a thought or when you see a proof that doesn't fit, then you just ignore it. So this is actually, like, I read a book a couple of months ago, and it's called Blind to Betrayal. I can't remember the author's name, but I will put it somewhere here in text. And this goes into that exact, like the mechanism where you see something that the narcissistic person does, and then it just disappears. Like they call it the swoosh. So they have an example of a woman who, I think she walked into like a pub, or, well, she saw her husband kissing another woman. And then when she walked in, and then he let go of the other woman, and he just came like, oh, are you here? And then he started to talk to her, and then they had a good evening, and she just forgot about the kiss. So she just swooshed it like out of her conscious mind and memory. And like she didn't think about it for a very long time, because if she would have processed that, like if she would have become conscious of what he was doing, then that would have shaken her whole world. And I think that there is more than just like the risk of your worldview shattering, but it's a protective mechanism for the brain. And I think it's like something that comes about, like from my own experience. I noticed that after I went through a lot of or some traumatic events involving physical abuse and threat to my life that really shook me. After that, my brain easily it fractures memories, and sometimes I just forget things. Let's see if I can stand the mosquitoes. We can sit here for a while. It's so beautiful. Like, there is a lake here. You can see that the water is really calm at this time of day. So let's see. Let's see if I can put you here. If you can see me, I'll try. Well, my brain will just forget some memories, even after I'm out of the relationship. There will be some things that are upsetting that I will just forget. They will be in my memory for, let's see if I can adjust you. I don't know if you see me. Let's try that. This in the winter, I learned about some abuse that one of my kids have experienced from their father, and I had no idea about it. I really had no clue or suspicion that something like that was going on. So I was very sad and upset. And I even journaled about it. It stayed in my, and I talked about it too. I did have a coach on narcissistic abuse at that period. I talked about it with her, and then it just disappeared from my memory. So I have a trial in November. It's not about this. It's about the stalking. And I was oh, sorry, you fell down, I'm sorry. I hope you didn't hurt yourself. Let's see, there, I brushed you off. Well, I was going through the evidence, what I was going to say when I am put on the stand, and I asked, what was the thing that my child told me? What was it? And I couldn't remember. It was gone, and I really had to struggle and go back in memory to retrieve that memory. So, I mean, it's hard. It's sometimes I don't even trust my own mind, my own brain. It does weird things because of the trauma. And because of the gaslighting meaning that he made me doubt my abilities to understand things and to interpret the world. And it didn't have to do with my job. So my job was a separate thing. He in the end, he actually tried to make me believe that I was a bad doctor, but he wasn't successful because the way he did it was stupid. He would watch some YouTube videos from not medical doctors, it was from other types of PhDs, and then he would, and it was a bit controversial advice, and then he would try to ask me a question, and he barely listened to my answer before he attacked me and said that I was dumb and I didn't understand anything. But it was it didn't work because he wasn't doing it in a very smart way, and it was almost like he was losing grip of reality at that point. Like he started to say that, well, I'm a better doctor than you. Like I would be a better doctor than you would, based on like I know this stuff and you don't. Well, getting back to the point, like he gaslit me for years, and probably like I guess that you did go through a similar process. Like he would attack my decisions and like criticize me and make me feel that I made a dumb choice, or especially when it came to the economy, or when it came to the like child rearing, even though I started to see through it in the end, because he didn't, like his advice started to become so off because he wasn't involved with the kids, and when he was at home, like he really couldn't parent well. So, and he started to lose his temper, like when they became a bit more independent and were no longer toddlers, then it really became obvious that like he can't handle them. He would have rages and like leave the home, and it was horrible. But like the gaslighting still has effects. So even though it is getting better, I've been out now for 21 months. Like in the beginning, I couldn't even go out, like I didn't have any clothes to wear, like only one shirt. And then I went to the shop to buy some clothes for myself, and I actually like felt real fear, like he would bust me, or like I would buy things for myself for my money, and then I wouldn't have enough for like the necessary expenses, and like I was so unused to making these decisions on my own. So that brought with it a lot of fear, like I didn't trust myself to do it. But as I had to do it, and as I have had to do it for almost 2 years, then that is like getting easier, and I'm learning to trust myself more, like by taking small steps, and by sometimes overthinking a bit before I take a decision, but just deciding that like my decision is just as good as anyone else's. So if I could just take his decision and run with it, then I can take my own decision and run with it. Like after I decide, then I don't need to second guess myself. I can just pretend that like this decision is being made, I have to work around it, or I have to work with it. And that has helped. But now getting back to the subject, like how do you trust other people? Well, I think that first you need to build a basic trust in yourself, and like in your ability to act in the world, to speak for yourself, to say what you want, to know what you want, like to get to know yourself again. And you need education about narcissistic abuse, about manipulation, about gaslighting. You need to understand how it was possible for a person to manipulate, like to sneak into your heart like this. And what were the red flags that you ignored, so that you, like the purpose is not only to work through what happened, the purpose is also to be able to recognize when you come across another person who is out to manipulate you, like a false person, a mask, a narcissist. And it does not always, like it's not easy to spot them right away. especially the covert ones, or the like communal narcissists that are very, very friendly and very helpful. So it's hard to spot them, but like you need to take it slowly when you get to know someone, and you start by trusting them with small things, and like a small confidence, or so you need to let them closer slowly, and you need to take red flags seriously, like not be naive or ignore them, but actually have your eyes open and see what is going on. So that also requires that there is like that you don't attach immediately, and like the best advice for not to do that is actually to like not get physically intimate too soon, because like physical intimacy is real. It triggers a lot of bonding hormones like oxytocin, dopamine, and like if you want to keep yourself cool-headed, then get to know someone before you go intimate with them, and get to know them over time. So use time in your advantage, keep your eyes open, and evaluate, and take it in steps so that you don't give them all of your trust. After going through abuse, many of us come out, like during the first period, especially like when you're really triggered and perhaps you have PTSD, many have black and white thinking. So either you're completely safe or you're completely dangerous. Like there is no room for gray areas. So if someone shows you like a small red flag, then they are a narcissist, a bad person, or and that's like part of the recovery process. I went through it as well. But you don't want to stay there. Like the narcissist does stay there. They have this black and white thinking. They don't trust. Like even when you're very close, they can flip on a dime. Like they might trust that right now you're not going anywhere and that you're controllable. Like that's their version of being trustworthy. But do something and then you become the enemy. Like they flip to the black thinking. So that's not healthy, and it creates a lot of problems in the relationships and like in your own mind. That is very like anxious building, like creates a lot of anxiety and fear and hurt. And you know, when you've been in an abusive relationship, many come out with some sort of post-traumatic stress or complex post-traumatic stress, because you learn that I trusted another person and they hurt you. They hurt me deeply. And like it's almost like you can also get PTSD like after a earthquake or like a mass shooting or something, that I no longer trust that it's safe to go out. I don't trust that there won't be an accident, and anything can happen at any time. Although losing your trust in other humans is a bit more problematic, because then there is no one there to support and soothe you. Like even if you went through traumatic event, like a natural disaster, then you can get comfort from your friends or family. But if the pain was caused by close relationships, then you are alone, and you might not feel like you want to open up to someone else who could support you or like give you some basic human companionship that we all need. But trying to create, so then what if you can't trust? Can't you just create a relationship anyways? Well, you can, but it won't be an intimate one. It's like if you co-inhabit with an enormous spider, and you can benefit from each other, perhaps, but you will always be a bit on your edge. Like, you won't be fully relaxed in your home, and you will keep an eye on them, to see if they are showing any signs of becoming dangerous or betraying you. If you would cuddle with the enormous spider, then you wouldn't find real peace or tranquility and comfort, and you might find some physical pleasure, but not a deep connection, not a deep love that you would want. So overcoming the trust issues, it's a bit like if you do have a spider phobia, you would perhaps go to CBT, cognitive, I'm sorry, the English word, but I think it's CBT, psychologist that would, slowly, you would be exposed to spiders. First you would look at them, and then you would perhaps feed them, and then you would put your hand down in the cage, and then you would have the experience, slowly building it, that I was anxious, but then I tried to feed it or put my hand down, and I was anxious, but then it was fine, and after a while the anxiety dropped. So, and that's the same process, when you are rebuilding trust. You might feel anxious, and that maybe because you are triggered, but still you move forward a little step. You don't open up completely, but if the person is a stable person and mostly trustworthy, and if they make one mistake and they apologize sincerely, then that would probably trigger a bit of a lot of anxiety. But hang in there, hang in there. Of course, you will decide where your line is, but you can't stay in the black and white thinking. You have to come out of that and start to trust normal people who sometimes will make mistakes. That's not the same as openly trusting people who show red flags and who would betray you, but reclimatizing yourself to human company, and finding the safe people to be around who can support you and who can love you and who can have a relationship. So I think that you will get there. It's no wonder that you're feeling fearful and anxious and afraid to trust, but there are a lot of good people out there. You just need to know how to find them and how to separate them from the bad people. And the opposite, like if you start to become really fearful for people, and then you might isolate more and more, like draw back from social situations, and like the more you withdraw, the more that anxiety might escalate. There are people who, like, they won't leave their house after going through one of these relationships because the world is such a bad place. Like, they are getting triggered and anxious from like people out there, and sure, there are many narcissistic personality disordered and mean people, but they're actually, like, they're not the majority. Like if there are 10% or something, most people are just normal, like the gray, the in between, and you need to learn how to see in gray shades of gray, and then I don't mean that naughty book. Yeah, I think that was it. Next week I will talk about the effects on your like body and system and your thinking from the narcissistic relationship, and the effects that still lingers after you leave, that you will have to work through and heal. So it's a bit of a healing topic. I think that it will be insightful. So I'm planning to post videos on Monday, Wednesday and Friday. That's the plan, and I hope that I will be able to hold to that schedule. Thank you for joining me. It was actually like no mosquitoes here close to the water, but it was a very nice walk and very nice to talk to you. And I'm Emma, holding up a light over the bridge. See you in the next video.